Y'all are gonna learn to stop playing with Nintendo and put some respect on Nintendo's name. And the great Birdman, all three of y'all gotta put respect on Nintendo's name. Now, what am I even talking about? Y'all probably don't even know, right? As far as Nintendo and their long-standing feud with people pirating their games, it goes back to all the way back to 1980s when the NES was on the rise, right? So going back down memory lane, the implementation of the 10ES lockout chip prevented unauthorized games and suing companies like Atari Games for circumventing it. So all the way back in the 80s, Nintendo let you know that we will pull up and we will spin the block on people pirating our games. Not only that, in the 90s, Nintendo targeted rental stores and bootleg cartridges, notably winning a $1.5 million judgment against a Canadian retailer in 1993. And of course, the Game Boy came about. Obviously, people are not going to pirate that, right? Well, of course you're wrong, because it brought a plethora of lawsuits against counterfeiters in Asia, where in the 2000s, Nintendo tackled emulation and ROM sites such as internet piracy grew and shut down sites like Love ROMs in 2018 with a $12 million settlement. I mean, where's 21 Savage and Drake when you need them? Because Nintendo needed more M's. Y'all out here pirating their content and they are not having it. Even to the point where they pursued hardware makers. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the R4 cartridge producers, they ended up losing their case against Nintendo in Japan and Europe. The 3DS and the Switch eras intensified, but Nintendo hacked back against Team Executor in 2020, leading to the arrest. They locking up people, they putting people behind bars because they want others to enjoy Nintendo games, right? Nintendo ain't playing that. So back in 2020, they locked up people from Executor and had the courts give them a $2 million penalty. Recently, of course, that's what this segment is about. As the most recent event that we're going to cover in totality is about the French company Dstorage, SAS. Sad day in history as Nintendo won a legal battle against Dstorage, the operator of OneFisher.com, a file sharing platform accused of hosting pirated copies of Nintendo games. Now, in all honesty, I'm not saying I'm a proponent for people pirating games, because you could say that and get sued, right? So I'm not going to say that at all. I'm not going to say that I put the enjoyment of the consumers over actually getting the game officially, right? I would never say that. I would never come out and say that I don't care how you get it. I just want you to have fun. But in the totality, from a bird's eye view, Nintendo cares. And they want you to officially get their game. And if you can't get it because of wherever you're at, then too bad, buddy. You're out of luck. That's what Nintendo is saying. And Dstorage obviously was trying to be a man of the, or a woman of the people, be a company of the people, as the site offered a lot of accessibility options for people to play Nintendo games. You know, it may have not been illegal it may not have been on the up and up. Let's just put it like that. And the French Supreme Court got tired of it. And they basically said, guess what? You are liable for not removing unauthorized game copies. So because of that, we're going to give you a penalty, right? And we're going to order you to pay $400. Hold up. What is this in USD? I don't know what this is. All right, hold on, let me find out what this is in USD. Is this? Okay, here we go. We're almost there. All right. So they were ordered to pay $456,000 approximately in compensation to Nintendo. So not only did Nintendo have a history of getting more M's from people pirating their games, but you know, 400,000 is a lot. I'm not trying to say it's not, but for a conglomerate like Nintendo, like, hold up, what is Nintendo's net worth? Reminder, this is the company that owns Mario, right? Nintendo net worth. Nintendo is worth $83 billion, ladies and gentlemen, and they were going after this company for $422,000. Now, I'm not saying that Nintendo petty. All I'm saying is they could have let it slide just a little bit. Like little Timmy, maybe he couldn't afford the game, you know? Maybe little Timmy was in another region where this game was locked from, right? I think the way that Nintendo went at Dstorage is very interesting. That's all I'm gonna say, because of course, I'm not messing with Nintendo. I just told y'all not to mess with Nintendo. I'm definitely not gonna say that Nintendo is bugging by suing a company for $422,000 when they're worth $83 billion. I would never say that. I'm not saying that at all, right? I'm not saying they're being petty with this lawsuit. I'm not saying they could have let it slide because that's illegal, right? I'm just saying that Nintendo indefinitely is going to pursue any and everybody who pirates their game. As when the French Supreme Court made the decision, it was very interesting for the landscape of the gaming industry because once again, we were reminded that Nintendo anti-privacy efforts are very aggressive and they want their fettuccine, even if it doesn't even make a difference in the overall net value, right? So back in November 2024, Nintendo sought a U.S. District Court subpoena for records in its case against James Arkbox Williams over alleged piracy. Ryan Michael Daly, a modded hardware, right? Nintendo also pursued legal action against Dolly for selling modded consoles, pirated games, and mod chips. Yuzu Emulator lawsuit back in February 2024, Nintendo sued them because of them making a Switch emulator to the point where they had to settle for $2.4 million and transferred its entire domain to Nintendo of America. I don't know how many examples I got to showcase to y'all that Nintendo do not mess with pirators. Like any type of pirate of the Caribbeans, pirating, they don't care. They want to let you know that if you're not buying our game officially, we're going to find you and we will make you pay the damages financially. Sad day in history. So with all these examples, I just wanted to showcase time and time again how Nintendo is not to be messed with. They have the greatest lawyers in the world. They will find you if you're pirating their games, and they will make you pay back all that money you made them lose out on. So at the end of the day, I'm basically just saying this, that if the next pirate out there is watching, I would advise you to not go against Nintendo, because getting caught helping little Timmy have enjoyment in games should not be your main focus. Not getting caught is still illegal, and I would not advise it, but I would say not getting caught would be the best route, right? If you're going to follow the footsteps of these pirators. But of course, as we've seen, getting caught is a pretty common trend, and Nintendo's not messing around with anybody who purchases their games illegally. And it's just basically strengthening Nintendo's case as far as their anti-piracy efforts and when it comes to copyright enforcement rights of game publishers across Europe, right? And the most egregious happenings of this, I think, was Yuzu, because not only did they say, give me $2.4 million, but they also had to transfer the entire domain to Nintendo of America. So at that point, not only do we own you, but now you had to back pay some of that money we missed out on. It was very, I think Yuzu is the most obvious example on how aggressive Nintendo can be when it comes to the content. So with that being said, it's a very interesting case. I wanted to cover it because at the end of the day, it's yet another case that Nintendo has won. Let's see. Has Nintendo ever lost a piracy? Because that's what I want to know. I want to know, have they lost in the court? Because right now they're looking like Floyd Mayweather in the courtroom. But as far as Nintendo and them in court, oh, okay, they did lose once. Okay, so a notable loss came in 2021 when Nintendo was defeated by the Federation of German Consumer Organizations, VZBV, in the case over its eShop pre-order refund policy. Okay, that's a little different. That's not piracy. Is that piracy or not piracy? I don't think it is, because it's basically saying you can't pre-order from your own shop. As far as piracy specifically, it's never lost. it's never lost. Oh man. Yeah, so if Nintendo comes after you for piracy, just wrap it up, buddy. It's over. Man, you just gonna have to be like, hey, you got me. You got me. Just don't go down snitching. That's all I gotta say. Don't go down snitching, because what you're doing is illegal. And as a consumer, I'm just gonna say don't get caught, or just follow the law, right? Because I can't advise for you to help little Timmy enjoy their games. All I can say is if you do get caught, which, you should probably try not to get caught, but if you do get caught because it's illegal, just know they're going to win the case. It's better than the FBI rate as far as them indicting criminals, right? They are 100% when it comes to piracy specific cases, and they're not going to lose. So if they catch you, just don't go down. And with that being said, click my link tree in my bio. Let me know on one of my social medias. What do you think about Nintendo winning the legal battle against Dstorage, with the courts having them pay Nintendo $422,000 in compensation and $25,000 in legal fees? I forgot to add that. And what is your biggest takeaway from Nintendo's dominance when it comes to piracy specific legal battle?